Many years ago, I came across a few lines in a book that I connected with. They were, "It's easy to judge, but you never know another person's heart, what gives them strength and what breaks them down." I have learned to listen more and speak less. The result has been eye-opening conversations and inspirational moments that I have shared with you right here. Welcome back to my channel. It is Crystal One-on-One and we are on location at Le Chateau, Brasserie Belge. Today I have a celebrated MC and a journalist. He can do so many different things, but most people know him as an anchor. But yes, he has a lot to say. Welcome, Andrew Kyamagero.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here.
It's nice to have you.
For the first time, Omuntu wa wansi. On one with Crystal. I've already seen women on this seat. I'm like, when are the men coming?
I have men on the show too.
I think you always promote more about the women, but hey, Omuntu wa wansi is here.
Well, but today you're here to talk to the men.
We made it. We come from a generation that has been given everything. Free education, free medical care, and someone will say, Kyamagero, I've been always, my father is paid, but your father has not told you the times you've been in a UPE school or you've born in a USCE school. We have a generation where everyone comes from a school of thought, I have to be given.
That's very interesting.
And when they meet them, they say, hey, Crystal, how are you? You've been lost. You're like, oh, I've been doing a couple of things. I'm running some projects. And the first thing they will tell you is like, Mpaku sent. Weird. The idea should be, what have you been doing? How do I plug into that? How do I make change to that? How do I become relevant to what you've been doing? How can you connect me to the opportunities that I can become a better person?
Yeah.
Problem is, they will say Mpaku sent. Now it's that mindset.
But you know, we make fun of it, but that's a very real
and
problem.
me, I'm very conscious about that. The moment you say that, I'll block you. I don't respond to your tweets. I don't do nothing because it's emotionally draining. I'm thinking about how I better myself and my family. Now I have another baggage of a friend from school and all that. That is utter nonsense.
No, but exactly. I mean, what have you done to deserve it? I always say that. What have you done to deserve it?
The thing
like,
is...
oh, you're busy, you're doing well. You share the money.
I share the money.
Why?
I am working for my money. I can share the opportunity, but you need to earn your money. So we need to shift our mindset, especially for the youth and our children. Can we shift our mindset from just being given? Can we have a purpose? Because purpose will create excellence, and excellence will breed cash, and you'll have a viscous cycle of a well-being life. If we can achieve that, we're good to go.
Now, I know somewhere it was listed that you're a motivational speaker. I'm saying it here now. So, my dear, first explain to me how you are the youngest of 7 and the only boy. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
I actually take myself as the best shot of my dad. Let me tell you why. Last bones are the best shot. Because the other babies, it's entirely about the shots. Like your parent is like, oh, I need one. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Second prototype, no. Now the last one is like, oh, finally, we have the right. Now,
oh, no, that's terrible.
I am the right gene of my parents. So it comes with a lot of responsibilities. One, I'm the only boy, so my dad was never nice to me. He was tough to me. He
so
raised,
it's like you're a
he
boy,
raised
so
me
you have
as
to
a boy.
be.
I grew up where we were staying. I thought we were renting because he kept saying, I'm paying rent, I'm putting you in school so you don't mess me up. I got to know when I was done with campus that it was his property, but he wanted us to know that he's spending too much.
Okay, but this was for the girls too, right?
The girls, it was a little bit different. She raised them to be independent women financially, and she raised them to stand up for what they believe is right. And even the day they're getting married, he never stood and told them, oh, he said, if you feel you're not fairly treated, stand tall, tell him, darling, I love you, but this is not fair. So that's my dad. Now, me, it was mad. It felt like I was in Somalia. The guy was so heavy on me. But at the end of the day, this is me.
That's interesting, because normally you find like the last borns, especially like when it's the only girl or the only boy, that they're totally spoiled, totally spoiled. But maybe your dad was conscious.
No, he
of
knew.
The fact that all your sisters and everyone was.
He knew what laid ahead, and I will still thank my mother too, because my mother Even when we had drought and famine in this nation, I never felt it. She always said, Andrew must eat. And on time. So I respect that if it's lunch, it's at 1 sharp.
Oh.
If it's breakfast, it's at 7 or 8. If it's dinner, if it's not at 7, it's not dinner. It's a discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
This came from your mom?
Yeah, that
What
came
is her
from
background?
and I've taken it straight to my family, that my wife knows as soon as the intro of Akawungezi goes, we're at the dining, we're eating. Even if I'm not home, my son will sit at the dining. It's dinner time.
Okay.
The idea is this discipline.
And that's structure.
It's a good structure. It keeps you holded and grounded on what you have to achieve in life.
Okay.
So that's how I run
Okay,
life.
what was your parents' background?
My
Like,
parents,
what did your dad do?
my dad was a businessman.
Okay.
He would jump from this to the other. He was never specific, but he kept telling me, earn money in the legal channels. He told me that if you don't appreciate the process of success, you'll never appreciate the process of life. So I knew that however slow it will take, however dark it is, day was on the way. So it would be painful, but it was coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, sounds like he prepared you.
Yeah, he did,
what
and
was
that's
coming.
that's what I'm doing for my son. I'm trying to be there for him. I'm a very busy junkie guy online and beyond, but my time with my son is my time.
You know, that's one of the biggest challenges in the world today,
Yep.
making that quality time.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what happens. If you don't give them time now, when you grow old, they're not going to give you time.
That's very true.
If you don't visit your parents with them, when they grow old and they get married, or when they marry, they won't come check on you because they didn't see it happen. So they will stay in their world and, hi dad, check your MM. There is some money there, and you're like, oh, okay. So I'm conscious. I'm investing in my old age.
Yeah,
So
you reap what you sow.
absolutely. So
You
I'm
reap
like,
what
we
you
need to go to
sow.
Jaja. When we're going to Jaja, we need to buy something. So he gets to know where we stand. And now that I have a beautiful daughter called Zaza, Jacqueline Kyamagero, I remind him that Zaza is your responsibility. In the work that I'm not around or mommy is not around, it's your job to protect Zaza. It's your job to stand for her. It's your job to tell her what we believe in as a family, the values we uphold, and what we are. We are Black, Ugandan, African, Baganda people.
Okay.
So
Very clear, specific
yes,
about it.
so he knows it. And when he stands to speak, he says, my name is Mandela Enzo Kyamagero. My father is Kyamagero Andrew. My mother is Indagire Kyamagero. We are Black, Baganda from Uganda.
Mandela,
Yeah.
as a name, was that something you decided a long
I'm
time
Pan-African.
ago?
I'm Pan-African. When I was studying in South Africa, I learned a lot more about Amadla Mandela and what he stood for.
Okay.
Many people will tell you the rosy things, what he did for South Africa, but I got to know that he was a human being.
Yeah?
He lost the grip at one time. He punched the wife. He was domestically violent.
Yes, he was.
Until when he understood the powers that be and the powers women hold. So my son Mandela, I want him to grow up. Even the cartoons I'm making him watch, I want him to be a champion of liberalization. You have to stand in. Be it at your place of work, be it in this family. You have to be the person to liberate the family. In case I'm growing old and I can't hold this family up together, you're going to stand tall and you're going to hold us together. You're going to liberate us from whatever crouch or whatever circumstance that will curtail this family. It's your job to keep us liberated.
Some people will say for a 4-year-old.
But
you have a plan.
I'm having this plan entrenched in him with the cartoon he watches. I'm making sure that there is a guy called Kunta, he's in the UK. He has African cartoon and animations for African stories.
Oh.
So I buy those and I make him watch those. He's not watching SpongeBob, no. He's watching our stories as Africans. I want him to be proudly strong as an African. So when he grows and travels around the globe, I want him not to be scared of his color. I want him to know our stories as Africans. I want him to appreciate where we come from.
Okay. That's starting early, I will say.
I know.
So where were you born? Where?
I was born in Chagwe, if I may bring it straight. That is my ancestral home.
Okay.
But I was born in Ntinda, if I may be exact. We used to sell on a street called Stretcher. in Ntinda.
Oh my gosh.
And later on, we moved to Salim Bay. So Ntinda has been my place where I've grown, I've studied, and I've been there.
Okay.
Then later on, we moved a bit to Weyogerere, that is in Kazinga. And I love Kazinga so much. I even have some investments there. So I've been pretty much a city-born boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mokono is my village.
Mokono.
30 minutes away, you'll have buried me and you'll be back in office.
Chagwa is not far.
Very close. Very, very close.
And not like other people who travel 7 hours. No.
Yesterday I went for burial. We were deep in Kayunga Championship. It took us 2 hours and 40 minutes to get there. I was like, yeah, man. But I appreciated rural urban migration is real.
So where did you go to school?
I went to school, to many schools. One, I went to Holmesdalen, primary school.
You did the whole of primary there?
No. I went to Holmesdalen primary school. I led a strike in P5, yes, because the beans were bad and the food was bad.
Was it that bad? It
was bad. So they took me from there, and when you messed up Holmesdalen in Kamwacha, they would take you to Chirinya.
Okay.
So they gave me a suspension, but they told me my next move will be in Chirinya. So they took me to the one in Chirinya.
Okay.
And from there I went, I was still stubborn there.
You then still caused some more problems there?
Yeah. And the problem was with an English teacher who came in and started to write when I was new in class. And she didn't greet us. And I didn't write. And she asked, why are you not writing? I said, because I don't want. She said, why? Because you didn't greet us. You don't know how the people's are in this class. You just came in and you don't care about the new ones. She must have been one of the tough teachers because everyone was holding their heads like, oh God, on our foot day.
Oh my God, who is this little guy speaking up?
So she said, go out. I said, I won't. I have a right to education and my parents paid. So she went to the staff room and told the teachers about the story. And they called me. I said, I'm not going to move because I have a right. She didn't greet us. I don't know. So they told me, what do you want? I said, I want her to apologize to the class, then we proceed. In those age, it was a big insult.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
But I said yes.
Because you were like, what, that's about 10, 11?
I was around 12 there.
12, and you're saying, I want this teacher to apologize to
because
us.
I knew my rights. From home, I knew my rights. And I knew my duties as well. So when she felt she was insulted, the director of studies said they're sending me home, so they called my dad, and my dad explained and was homeschooled. And in homeschooling, they say if you're tired, you say I'm tired. If you're not happy, you say you're not happy. So
yes.
I had the esteem from the childhood days. So they said they were going to suspend me. I said no. I knew the DEO of the Nakawa division then, and I knew our MP is the late Wumatete, and I knew where he stayed. I went back and I reported the case, and I said this is what happened at school. And they used to drive a double cabin, those old one Mitsubishi. They drove and they came to school, and assembly was brought, and they told the teacher to apologize. So that was my primary. It was crazy.
Okay.
I met this lady after many years. She was working with a telecom company. And we're in the queue, and we're not moving. So I was like, can we get moving? Oh, you guys have a big labor turnover. She said, please come. Then she told everyone, oh, this is Andrew. And everyone was like, oh, I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I'm teacher Solomon. I'm like, oh, I'm not following. She's like, I'm your first teacher. And so I'm like, oh, so
she remembered you.
She actually, after that
incident,
she quit teaching.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it wasn't her calling because I was just following what my right was.
And also, but you know, sometimes even though you study education, it may not be for you. Not everyone can be a teacher.
The problem is, Crystal, our teachers and our culture denies the children the right to speak what they think is right.
Yeah.
So whenever students or people speak what they think, we take it as an insult.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But it's wrong. We should hear them out. We should listen. And because I did that, when my son says some things at times, I'm like, it's okay. I'll be hard, but I'm like, It's well.
It's a very different generation now.
Absolutely. We need to. And if we don't listen to them, we're going to get messed up ahead.
I mean, we see it in our country here,
Yeah.
you know, the effects of that upbringing,
Yeah.
where you just have to keep quiet,
Yeah.
and keep taking whatever it is. And we see it here, people don't stand up.
I won't keep quiet, and I've never kept quiet. I always speak.
Okay.
Yes, I always speak.
Okay. So where did you finish primary?
I got done.
Was it it?
Yeah, I got done still with Holmes Darling, and after primary, I joined senior secondary school. I went to. I started with St. John's, that is in Ntebetebe, Boyogerere. It was a senior secondary school. But before I joined that, my dad took me to Mwiri College.
Okay.
In the east. There was a very bad vice there. I told him I'm not coming back to this.
How long were you there?
1 term.
What was this vice?
These boys were having sexual relations.
Oh.
And I could not be a part of it.
Wow.
So I told my dad, no, I'm not coming. And he believed in me. He said, if Andrew says that he won't, I'm like, no, I'm not going to be a part of this.
Did someone try to?
No, I saw them in the bathroom. I was like, whoa, no. I told my, do you know what happens here when I'm about to She was like,
oh my goodness.
So I moved, and they brought me to St. John's, and it is something I learned. I will never put my son in a single school. It is something I learned. I will never put my son in a single school. I want him to be in a mixed school. I want to hear stories of, oh, this girl is beautiful. I want to know that he is attracted to girls. And I'll take care of the other cases. But I want him straight.
Okay.
So I left, I came to St. John's, and after St. John's I went to, there's a school on Entebbe Road. It's called a Bethany Covenant College. That's why I did my senior 6, and I was done. Okay.
So no issues in secondary school?
Secondary school, I was a little bit of a troublesome person. There was a tendency called the Kyamageroism, and that meant not being in class.
So you were skipping school?
No, I was always walking around the compound, just jumping from here. Like at times I would just get out of class and sit under the shade. And they're like, why? I'm like, it's too hot inside.
During class?
Yeah, and
like
the HM
lessons.
kept saying, go back in class. I'm like, it's boring. Then in class, they used to make me sit at the front because I would make funny comments from the back. I was sent out of a chemistry class because when the teacher was explaining something, I made a very funny Luganda comment and said, and everyone laughed. The teacher said, Mr. Kasoe said, Kyamagero, you're out.
And that was it?
And that was it. But I had to see the exam paper of chemistry. So my current personal doctor, Dr. Chimbwa, kept helping me with discussions in chemistry. I told him, so you'll be in class and you'll help me catch up.
Okay. Did you ever find like a platform? Because clearly you were very outspoken. You needed a platform.
Yeah.
Back then, to use your voice.
I was a head teacher. I would rather a head prefect when I was in, that was in high school.
Yeah.
But when I was in O-level, I was a timekeeper. I love time. I always was that person who would really be on your nerves. When it was lunchtime and the bell has been sounded, I would walk out. I don't care whether you're done teaching us, I would walk out.
Okay.
So that they gave it to me. Then they risked sometime to give me entertainment. Before they knew, the school had many artists. Every weekend I wanted to give them a kadanke. We had a lot of movies, so they're like, Kyamagero because people, I'm like, okay. But that was pretty much what I was in school. And I never did preps. I never read during preps.
Okay.
I always preferred just to sit and look on people read. Yeah.
Okay.
But I always loved to attend discussions.
Okay.
So when the teacher was teaching, I always paid keen attention. And I loved a lot to be in discussions, but I never read.
Okay. So
reading books?
To settle quietly and just
Zero. I learned that when I was in the UK doing theologian courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you finished at 6. Where did you go then?
As soon as I was done with Senior 6, I I started looking for jobs on radio. And I went to KFM today. It was called Monitor. Told them I want to work on air. They said no. By then the presenters, it was Dr. Mitch and Aisha Alibai. And they told me, you're too young. I said, look, I can talk. But they said, your voice is still too... I'm like, listen, this... just need to hear me out. So I found a gentleman in the parking lot, was called Conrad in Kutu. And I told him, you're the MD, my name is Andrew Kyamagero, I can be a good presenter. He said, yes, but you need to give it time. He was running for, I think, a meeting. Then I talked to Aisha Alibai. Aisha told me, you'll need to find some ground to do experience. So I went on the internet, I looked out for every radio station, but I wanted an English-speaking radio station. So I got YFM. It's in Lira, very far. So I went, I got their numbers, I called it. It is a Catholic kinda. So I called the boss, he's a white man. He talked to me, he said, oh, you're good, I hear the sound. Please go to a liaison office in Kampala. Then you can get a bus early morning and you come to Lira, then we'll talk. I'm like, cool.
And?
Then I went to a fast food on Kampala Road. It was called Mask Foods. I sat there, I ordered for an egg roll, and I was like, but Lira is far.
I was wondering, I'm like, you're going to jump on a bus?
Yeah, I'm like, Lira is far. Can I find any other place? I went back to the cafe, paid my 500, browsed, and I found Best FM. It was in Masaka. I said, Masaka, they speak my language, they're Uganda. So I called, and when I called, the person who picked the number was called Mr. Katende Alex Bidigwa, who happens to be today the chairperson of the Uganda Media Owners Association. So I told him, my name is Kyamagero, I'm a presenter. He said, okay. Our offices are in Masaka. He said, when do I? He said, you can come tomorrow. I had no money on me.
So what was the plan?
The plan was, first of all, I didn't want to involve my family. No one believes in media in my family. They think it's weird. So
What do you mean? No one believed in you? I mean, you talked about you wanted to work on radio and they thought it was...
for them, they believe in engineers, doctors, that kind of mambo jumbo. So I didn't want to stress them. I had a friend called Maureen. So Maureen, she's the first person who has ever believed that I can be good in media. I told her, you know what, Maureen? I've gotten a job offer, but it's in Masaka. I need transport. She said, I'll try to get money from my parents. So Maureen got 20K and gave me. Going to Masaka was 10K. I had my 10K to bring me back. So I reached Masaka, and they tell me the person I should meet is called Herbert Kabanda. He was the PD, but was already in program. So when he came out, he had one earpiece in his ears, and I told him I'm Kyamagero. He said, okay. I'm like, I'm a presenter. He's like, okay, I'm like, on Best FM. He's like, no, Sabara. So he's like, let me get back to you. So he jumps in his car and drives off to a place called Kako. He was a presenter as well as a poultry farmer.
Yeah.
So he goes to Kako, forgets about me. I start the reception from 8 up to noon when he came back. Said, oh, Charlie, whoa. I'm like, yes. So he takes me down to production and they test me and he's like,
there's something.
You're fast. We need to tone it down a bit. So Mr. Bidigwa then comes in and says, let me listen to your demo. He listened. He's like, I think you're good, but you need to tone down on your pace.
You were too fast.
Your English needs to be, I'm like, okay, I can work on that. So he says, come back tomorrow. I said, boss, I stay in Chiwatuli. So I'm like, I don't know anyone in Masaka. This man went out of his way. He told the accountant, please book Andrew a room at a guest house called Vienna every night. So every day we'll be giving him 30,000 for his welfare, and we pay that guest house. So I was there for 2 months.
Wow.
They were paying that. And for 2 months, they gave me the morning show, and I started. And my first salary was a great 120K. I was happy.
Because you were doing what
I
you
loved
wanted to do.
I moved
really
on.
Determination. Huh?
Then I started going into, I enrolled for mass communication at Kampala University. I started to study these. It kept giving me the clear picture of what I wanted. But I had a goal.
Okay.
I had to be in Masaka for only 3 years.
Okay. So you were there for 2 months. When did you start?
No. When I
the training was for 2 months.
No, when 2 months I was already on air. I was learning on air, learning at work. Then I enrolled for a bachelor's in mass communication. I started I needed to legalize what I was doing.
But I'm trying to understand the 2 locations. How were you?
I'm in Masaka. I didn't come back to Kampala.
Okay.
When I went, I stayed there. So I was there for all that long. Now, 3 years after, that was my plan.
Okay.
So I enrolled for mass com. My goal was I'm studying what I am doing.
Okay.
When I'm done, I go back to Kampala. This business where they say experience and paper, I have both.
You have both. I like.
So I went to Zanzibar for my leave. When I came back, I resigned.
Okay.
I'm like, why are you resigning? Like, I think I'm done here.
It's
But
time
my
for the
dad
next
wanted
thing.
me to be a pastor. So I came back, I told him.
Pastor?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Was your dad very...
I don't know. But he always looked at me as someone who can be a pastor or something. I don't know.
Maybe because
Parents are
maybe
weird.
you can talk and you can...
It was a misguided suggestion.
But I'm trying to think, considering all the trouble that you caused in school...
Yeah. I think he wanted to use religion as a taming tool for me. It didn't work out. Proudly disorganized at times. Organized chaos. So when I came back, he was like, so you're done with your stuff? Now you're going for theology.
That is how. I was like,
It's a mess.
when did you do theology and how did you end up there?
So it took me. I studied at the Westminster. Then I went to the UK, the Durban University. I studied theology. I got ordained, came back. I gave him his papers.
He was that serious?
Yeah. I said, now, you have your papers, I have my papers. So I'm going to do my papers. And I chose that.
How long were you in the UK?
4 years, studying in a far village of Kent. Man, it's too up country. Come in London for just a few nights with friends and you have to go back.
You go back to the village there.
It was good for me. So when I came back, I said, let me just do me. And me was media.
You were still sure you wanted to do
Yeah.
media?
And I told him,
Absolutely.
I said, Mosei, if I'm a pastor, you're going to have kids you won't handle. I'll have babies with many wives because you see, when you're a pastor, yes, much as they train you on how to discipline yourself and all that, I don't want to pretend that I'm a saint. That is for starters. 2, I am not so emotionally grounded to carry the baggage of people every day. Now, you see, that's where the problem comes in. When you're a pastor, Crystal will come and confide in you when the husband is doing it. You tell Crystal, please be patient, pray, intercede, believe in God is going to make a miracle. But the other guy needs to equally be talked to. At times they're unreachable because they don't believe in religion. So I'm dealing with one dice against the other dice. It's not working. Utter nonsense to me. So I can't be a part of that. I said, no. I'll break your heart.
I still can't believe you did 4 years. It's like, okay.
And I said, let me just do me. So he said, fine, you want to do you? I'll be honest, my dad has never watched me on TV. My dad has
Even
never
now?
listened to me on radio, ever. When they tell him, oh, Andrew is good, he's like, come on. Because he believes I should have been.
Even now, he still believes?
He doesn't. Even when he reads in papers, he say these guys are misguided. This guy should be pastor.
That's crazy.
But who cares? Me, I'm happy. I'm living my life.
What about your mom?
My mom has always believed in me to the extent that at times when I was applying for jobs, she would pray for the water I'm going to shower. And she always told me one thing, you'll be great if you're disciplined. She told me the challenges that come with too many babies and too many wives and too many girlfriends. And she always took me to the hospital in the AIDS ward to understand.
Just to remind you what's out there.
So she told me every time you put your zip down, it's the closest, so be careful. So I hold my mother so dear to my heart. She messes me up at times, but I love her. They really mess up when they grow old.
So you came back. Now you have your paper, you've done
I
theology.
decided to go back to radio. And my first radio, because I had a theologian background, now I went to Spirit FM.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
So Spirit FM, I was there for 7 months. And I couldn't feel the vibe. I was doing a morning show, but it was so godly. I had my comments that were secular, and I wanted them sounded.
Okay.
It didn't make sense.
And they weren't comfortable with that.
I resigned.
Okay.
And then I resigned. I went to a station called Touch FM. Now with Touch FM had a real feel of a UK radio station. I'm like, this is it. Now at Touch FM, I wasn't a presenter. I was just a news anchor.
Oh, okay. So you decided to go into anchoring then?
The idea is I've always wanted to challenge myself to learn something new. Whenever I'm given a job, I want to look at, okay, I know presenting, I know how to write a script, I know how to deliver. How about news? It's a 5 minutes short. How can I be perfect at this? And I went for it. And I was there for 4 years now. While at Touch FM, my friends started to come up with a radio station called Galaxy FM. And I could hear the sweepers, I could hear the stingers. I'm like, this is good production. So one day, me and my good friend Marriott, we are in a car from the beach, laughing, and she was like, can you make these comments on it? I'm like, given a chance, I will. She's like, okay, now I'm a PD at a Galaxy FM. I'm like, we can team up and we do something. So I went to Galaxy. Now Galaxy, they said you have to find your niche. Marriott is she's a high-end girl. She's educated. She's what? You need to find your crowd. Now my crowd, I looked at, there is what they call omuntu wa bulijjo, which in English you can call the middle class. I looked at omuntu wa wansi, the layman, someone who is going to be knocked by the roadside, and the best person you can run to is an OC at the police. Bankonyi.